actually there's a third-party company. There's a third-party company that does knockoff Gundams.
Oh, okay.
And then they decided to do a so there's this like concept art of Transformers turning into animals, beasts, which is not the same as the Beast Wars one. That actually they do turn into. Okay, so it's like basically characters that never had any animal or alternate modes. There was concept art for them. They're called Transformer Beasts or T-Beasts. So this third-party company decided to take like Starscream. He turns into a giant-ass eagle. It was really
Ooh.
Okay.
But because they are usually doing like Gundam stuff, knockoff Gundam stuff. I believe knockoff Gundam stuff. So the Starscream in robot mode kind of looks like a Gundam, like lots of panels. Like you can kind of see like that design like philosophy of Gundam kind of being ported over. I just thought that was interesting. They're robots, but you can kind of see like the difference in the.
I always loved the prototype things. I mean, it's slightly different, but like Star Wars, like here's what C-3PO looked like before we settled on the final version. That stuff's always cool.
Yeah, like when you get those in art books and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like the like whenever they release like let's say Star Wars for example, and it's like a prequel or whatever, and you can see the droids. It's like a less technologically advanced version of droids that we've seen before, like C-3PO.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like the Iron Man one, the first Iron Man suit. Like,
Yeah. Bulkier.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is why it's weird when the movies like don't do that. Like episode 1, they're like way more advanced and stuff. Like KOTOR does a pretty good job of seeming older, but like the prequels don't.
Part of it is also. I think part of it is also visual, not just the design, but how they decide to present it visually. Because I remember episode 1, a lot of the ships and all that look very sharp and shiny. Like there's that brand new look to it, and during the original
things are dirty and breaking down. It's great.
Everything battle damage and everything, so it doesn't look. I just think.
Yeah, I mean, I also always just think about the fact. I mean, not to put I'm not trying to put things all on George Lucas, but he was an effects guy before really getting into Star Wars. So I know he was pretty excited with the prequels, with having way more money to work with to make them. So there's
the
kind
Jedi's
of
are way more agile back then. Everybody's jumping around like.
It's kind of like some interview with Tim Burton where he was like super excited to do CG. He's like, I hate claymation. It's so slow. It's like, really? Like if you think of Tim Burton, you think of claymation. He's like, I only did it because I had to. If I had a computer, I'd never have done claymation. It's like, oh, it's really so weird.
Like what a lost art, but yeah. I mean,
interesting.
I guess it's like when you think of not quite the same, but I guess like there's some artists when they finally kind of could move to digital art.
Yeah.
There's someone we got a commission of a print not too long ago. My wife and I, some artists that actually I've known for many years now. I used to kind of work with them a little bit. Is it your Final Fantasy 14
characters?
Yes. We just Did you see? I guess you saw them on Twitter. Yeah. And originally their commissions are usually with Copic marker. And so that's what they usually do for commissions for other people, which is basically, if you don't know, it's just a special type of marker that artists use. It's very expensive, but they're very high quality. I don't know how it works, but like they make everything shade and look beautiful. But they really wanted to make this, because we've known them for some time. They wanted to make this special because they kind of wanted to make like a wedding present for us. Since my wedding keeps getting technically pushed back. And so they asked us, they're like, could we do this like digitally instead of Copic marker? And we said, yeah, of course. That's no problem. I mean, I love, hand-drawn stuff, but digital lasts longer. Like it's not going to fade. You can always print new. Yep, exactly. So
because you're not going to fold the print, it's going to be quite big to ship. And exactly. Chances of damage and all that.
And we could make it however big we wanted to, which we did. We went through a local place to print it out. It looks really nice.
Do you have to pay extra for like the PSD files, the original files, versus
no,
just a PNG?
They gave us a TIFF file, which is a typical. You can expand
super
it.
High,
Yes, super high quality. They did give us the PSD files. I don't know if that's typical, but they did do that for us. I haven't played around with them. I haven't been on Photoshop in a while, but that was very nice of them to do that, because I honestly feel like artists don't need to do that, because it's almost like you're kind of showing like how you do your work, I feel like, when you give us the PSD files, but still very nice of
with
them.
the layers and stuff, yeah.
And
exactly.
Usually that's like more expensive because you're kind of just buying the rights off of
Basically, yes. Yeah. I don't know if that was because, like I said, these artists don't normally do commissions in digital art. They kind of requested it because they essentially wanted to make it look really nice. And as you probably saw, it looks really nice. They really worked hard on it. And I'm not saying it wouldn't have looked good on Copic marker, but it would have been different. You can edit things on digital art. You can undo things. You can really make things, look exactly how you want it. So, I can kind of understand how Tim Burton feels, but I do feel very like, but claymation looks so cool.
Yeah, it
we
makes
are
it
so
super
used
easy,
to CGI.
especially like when I go get my tattoos done. My artist just draws them on a fucking iPad. I'm like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And she does like multiple versions of the same tattoo. And sometimes it's just removing and putting different layers on it. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about having this outline, this here, this, that? And it just makes it so easy for both the artist and the person paying money for it.
Yes.
And also,
absolutely.
This is episode 181 of the playonultra podcast. Just in case.
Welcome, everybody.
This is the new episode you're listening to. This is episode 181. Okay. So yeah, before we go into anything else, let's just start with the one news thing. There's a game called 6 Days in Fallujah.
Oh god.
Let's just start with that, and then we can get it out of the way. So, 6
Go
Days
ahead,
in
get it
Fallujah
started.
is a game recreating a battle in the city or village. I'm not really sure what's the proper term to use here. A place in Fallujah during the Iraqi war. Yes, the recent one that is not that long ago.
With Americans.
So it was it's basically like, quote unquote, what they say, insurgents / terrorists going into the Fallujah, and then American forces tried to take over. They failed the first time, and I think they succeeded the second time. I did some reading on it, but I'm kind of forgetting some of the details here. Okay, let's just give some backdrop to this. In 2009 was when this game was first announced. It was being made by a company owned by a person named Peter Tamte. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. I think he's definitely the founder of the company. And the game was going to be set to be published by Konami. And in 2009, this battle was only like 2 years after. And people like, what the fuck? Everybody said, what the fuck, enough times. And Konami was like, okay, okay, we're not doing this, basically. Fast forward to 2021, just a few weeks ago or like a couple months ago, they announced that it's coming back. Okay? They announced it at the same time they dropped the trailer. And the trailer only showed, I believe, cinematic. I watched the trailer, but I don't remember seeing any gameplay, so I'm not really sure. But, okay. So it's basically an American company making a game about the Iraqi war, very specifically about the battle in Fallujah, which actually happened, and showing it from an American perspective, showing it off as the Americans being the heroes, showing off as the Iraqis needed the American forces to be there to be the heroes, and any person from any Iraqi people that is featured in the game are people like wanting the American forces to be there, like that angle.
Apologists, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like the selling point of this game, I guess, is they are focusing on the tactical parts of it. They talk to actual armed forces people who were actually there, and they also talk to some Iraqi civilians who were actually there. And apparently, you will get to play as an Iraqi father trying to get his family out of Fallujah during the battle. Okay,
Okay.
As soon as this news dropped, I follow this guy named Daniel Ahmad. And Daniel Ahmad. He's like game industry guy. He tweets a lot of news. He's also like an analyst for like Nikkei, game industry guy. So he tweeted this up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Like, why is this being made? Like, nobody wants this. Well, I won't say nobody wants this.
Yeah, be careful. But yeah,
I think it shouldn't be made. It's very unethical and immoral to make it. And I was kind of part of like a very, very early discourse with one of the journalists that got early look at it and the demo and be able to talk to devs about it. Her name is Liana. I'm gonna butcher her name. Rupert or Rupert. Not really sure how to pronounce. But she's the one that wrote. I thought it was Rupert because there's two P's in the middle. That's why.
It is weirder. That's weirder. Yeah. I don't know then.
So if it's just one P, it's a Rupert. That one I know. So she's the one that wrote the Cyberpunk, the flashy lights one. The Cyberpunk game. The
not Cyberpunk.
2077?
No, Cyberpunk 2077. The scene that give the flashy lights and make people go crazy.
The scene itself, specifically sure that scene.
The epileptic seizures.
Yes, that one. So she wrote that. She writes for Game Informer. So she's apparently also a veteran.
Oh.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I'm of the opinion that it really doesn't matter if you're an ex-soldier or not. To be honest, like, if you're gonna tell me that the individual soldier has no power about these kind of wars, then I think your opinion also doesn't have anything more like your opinion should not matter more than like somebody like me who haven't been a soldier, but I can see like what kind of bullshit this is. So she was like kind of defending the game a little bit. She did clarify that she obviously thinks war is bad. Okay. And she also, I'm not trying to like twist her words. She obviously is against war. She is definitely anti-war. The problem I had with her angle was that she said this game was going to save lives because it's going to be a realistic. Because this game was going to be a realistic take on the horrors of war. But when she said save lives, she meant all these 18-year-old young kids wouldn't just join the army because they thought it was like a bunch of hero rah-rah stuff. And I'm just like, again, it's about saving American lives, which I'm not saying let's kill all the Americans. What I'm saying is this war fucked up a lot of
more people.
Like you know what I mean? Like, it's just
absolutely.
There's some English comedian like Darren O'Brien or somebody.
Everything is from an American viewpoint, and I don't think people understand how powerful the American voice / American media is. Like, seriously.
So like, there's a British comedian. He's like, the worst part about being invaded by America is how 6 years later they'll start making movies about how killing your citizens made them feel sad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that one too. So it's like, I think people really do not understand how powerful the American media is worldwide. Like,
propaganda machine.
You not just that, and I'm not just talking about like things like, war is good. I'm also talking about like Black Lives Matter. Like, you can ask
life stuff.
If you talk to like 10 Malaysian progressive people, liberals, 10 of them will know what Black Lives Matter is. 10 of them will be supportive of it. If you talk to them about the plight of the minority Indian people, and when I say Indian, I mean like actual Indians, not native people. If you talk to them about the minority Indians that's in Malaysia, for example, and the shit they have to go through, because there's a lot of parallels with the black people in America, like dying in police custody kind of shit. High numbers too. 5 of them might know. So you shouldn't know more about America than your own countries. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like so powerful, and I feel like America. We don't need more American voices because we already have that. You're just adding more to it, to something that we don't need. You get what I mean? And it's like, and I feel like it's very hard. I'm not saying don't save these lives, like 18-year-old kids. Like, a lot of them do it because they had no other choice, right? I mean, like, like she said, she joined the army to not be homeless. Like, that's fucked up. Like, the military machine is just fucked up overall. But what I'm saying is, if this game was being made 100% Iraqi point of view, play the Iraqi civilian, maybe even being made by a Middle Eastern or Iraqi dev. I'm totally all for it. A version of this game deserves to exist, but not this version.
No, it's this is I'm just gonna say it, this is an art piece we don't need. This is just,
and all of this
so
was before Peter Tamte, the founder, was interviewed. After the interview, it just got worse.
Yeah. Was he the one that tried to say it was apolitical?
Yes, he's making an apolitical war game.
An apolitical historical war game.
Do you understand what war is? War is forcing political ideals in a violent manner. That's all it is.
Pretty much.
It's all political.
And before anybody, what about World War II? That is like, if you have to go back 50 whatever fucking years to bring up the only justified war, you've lost the argument.
That doesn't mean it's not political. It's still political.
Yeah, it's totally political.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean,
to be fucking clear, I'm against all anything about Vietnam, the Gulf War, all that shit. World War II, I think, is the only safe one. And even
pretty much.
And certain games have done it pretty okay. They shown the Russian perspective as well. I remember the first Call of Duty actually showed off both American and Russian. Could they have done more? Maybe, but at least it wasn't just Americans being the heroes in that game.
Yeah.
So okay, so he came out and said he wanted to so remember the part in the trailer where the narrator was talking about you get to play as the Iraqi father, right? Peter has come out to clarify that's basically 10% of the game.
Thanks. It's a special mission.
It's just token.
It's an escort quest, I bet, too.
And he's also not going to show all the atrocities. It's just going to be Jason
for the fire quest.
Oh god, but that's totally all it is. And they're art.
And he said the game is also not going to show the atrocities that was done by the American forces, like the White Phosphorus, or even talk about it.
So how is it supposed to dissuade people from joining the army?
So that's the thing. I feel like the communication is all over the place. It's just, this is obviously another military propaganda. And it's, if you're gonna, the thing is, if she wasn't a journalist that had early access to this game, it was okay. She had early access to the game, so she knew all this info before the rest of us did. So the fact that she still was defending it really grinds my gears. Maybe she wasn't, to be really fair, maybe she wasn't thinking about it in any other perspective, because it is an American game made for the American people. And even though there's a bunch of Iraqis you can kill, but it's sometimes you just don't think about it from another perspective. It's a really shitty excuse, but that's the only thing, because the American propaganda machine is really, really strong.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not an excuse, but it's a reality. Unfortunately,
because that's a really good way to put it. It's a reality.
I mean, because unfortunately, it is true. I mean, these made by American games are so focused on the American experience that the Iraqi experience is more isn't this woke of us? Look at us at this interesting thing that we're then not going to really address at all in the game. I assure you, it's one of those, there's a classic thing we and my family unit like to kind of say jokingly with games, which is, they asked a question that they didn't actually want to answer. Star Wars is classic for this, such as they're really asking the questions about the horrors of war without really answering what that means. Stuff like that. So same thing here. They really tried to seem so woke by being hey, we're going to give you a perspective of an Iraqi civilian without then answering the logical question of, okay, but what about, the horrible things that these American soldiers are doing to them?
We're not trying to make actual quote, we're not trying to make a political commentary about whether or not the war itself was a good or bad idea.
What are they trying to do?
They are trying to show the complexities of urban warfare and how political decisions made by policymakers affect individuals.
So here's the thing. when I was, a young teen that thought I knew everything, I believed that you could make a piece of artwork while being very like, I'm not taking a side, I'm showing you all the sides. But now I'm an adult, and I know that's bullshit. That's not how it works. When you make any kind of piece of artwork, you are always making a statement. There's always at the end of a statement, even if you're not conscious of it.
You don't even have control of the statement, right? Because it's going to be interpreted by some people completely differently.
That too. And that's a whole other gambit of things, and that's what obviously will happen here. I'm sure in their heads they weren't making a statement. I'm sure in their heads they're like, we're just making a game that shows what happened and the horrors of war. Except, we put that out there and, people take that and goes, ooh, Americans were the heroes. Go us. And it's like, exactly what you're saying. Maybe they didn't consciously mean to put that in. I would argue that their internal biases made that what happened. But that, like you said, now they can't control the message, and that's what people are going to run with it as. So... yeah, you can't try, if you try to say, like, I'm just listing all the sides and the complexities, no, that's impossible. There's a statement in there somewhere that you're going to be making.
It kind of reminds me of, in 1986, Platoon came out, which is a very, very famous Vietnam movie. Less than a year later, but 1987, Hamburger Hill came out, which is also a Vietnam movie. The difference between the two movies is that Hamburger Hill treats Vietnam like it's World War II. And people are like, whoa, we don't feel that way about Vietnam.
World War II as in like good versus bad, kind of like very clear lines of who's good and bad?
Yeah, like we're the heroes. Like that
okay,
kind of,
okay.
It's not like the horror of war that Platoon is, where it's just like, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
So another quote. I have two concerns with including phosphorus as a weapon. Number one is that it's not part of the story that these guys told us. So I don't have an authentic factual basis on which to tell that. The phosphorus one was used... I don't think it was used in this battle, but it was used in the Iraqi war. So, okay. That's not the worst part of the quote. Jesus fuck.
Oh, no! That was bad enough.
Oh, my goodness.
Number two, apparently he thinks the first part that what I just said was most important. But number two is, I don't want sensational types of things to distract from the parts of the experience. How is white phosphorus sensational when it's literally... It literally happened. It wasn't exaggerated. It fucked a lot of people. Like, have you seen the pictures, motherfucker? I think people should see the pictures. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
It's like the Agent Orange type stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, not similar, but like the impact of the pictures is similar.
Right.
Another thing was, in the battle, uranium munitions were used.
Oh yeah, because they armor piercing.
And basically, the entire city was like just scattered with all these like heavy metals,
radiation,
and researchers have shown an increased incidence of cancers and lots of defects in children being born after the battle. Like, I'm talking about like really like, don't look this shit up. Like, don't.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna be in the game as well, because he thinks players are not going to be confused about the cost of war. But that's just
I'm gonna make a controversial statement here. I don't think we need video games of historical wars. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I don't like made up wars and stuff,
Because
like made up stories. That's to me different.
Because one thing about the thing that's different with video games and movies is movies just shows it to you. In a video game, you have to interact. And depending on which side you let the players interact with. So like again, if this game was just showing the horrors of war from the Iraqi perspective, 100%, I think that's okay. But then it depends on who makes it and stuff. But if you're gonna let us, because a game needs to have some sort of entertainment value. It needs mechanics. Agency. Yeah, it needs mechanics, and I think that just dumbs down the reality.
I mean, I guess it kind of sounds like the problem. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's hard to make a good, and I mean good in the sense of not evil game.
Yeah.
Where you play as actual bad guys.
Yeah.
Because you can play as like a bank robber or whatever, but like it's hard to play make a game where you're actually doing like war crimes and have it just be like a real game, a good real game.
They did it once, wasn't there? I don't play
Spec
shooters
Ops,
at all.
The Spec Ops
yes,
game?
there's the famous Spec Ops game
That's
that
the
tried
one that
to do
everybody
that.
brought up. You know, like I can't remember. I did play it like a really long time ago when it first came out.
Yeah.
And there was like white phosphorus used in that game, and your player was horrified, and like you didn't really actually have. Your character was horrified after finding out what it was actually, and like your character, or you as the player, didn't have a choice of not using it and all that. Like that game's been made. That one's enough. Like we don't need any more. We don't need any more.
What was the game where you were like it was a completely fictional game, like you were on Mars or whatever, and you were basically a human Martian fighting against like the Earth, like trying to like take over the city.
Is it the one with the sledgehammer?
It's the one with the sledgehammer.
I don't know this one.
Well, it's interesting because like the mechanic of the respawn mechanic of the game wasn't just because video game. Like there was like a lore reason behind respawning, and so it actually like made logical sense for you to be a suicide bomber, and so like it had this kind of interesting like political implications to like the gameplay.
Red Faction Guerrilla?
That sounds right. That's a name that sounds right.
The one with the hammer where you can basically destroy any environmental.
I think so.
Structure.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Guerrilla,
do remember so
Red
much
Faction.
about the game. Like it was really fun. But and it is you're like a rebel. You're part of a rebel group, and you're trying to like gain independence from Mars because Mars is like a mining colony or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this game.
You can have political games. It's just really so messy when it's you try to ground it in reality.
Exactly. I mean, political games, like you really, the word politics. I think the problem is that my definition is probably more broad than what some people might say their definition is. It's just because of to me, I feel like we're at the point where things shouldn't be political, in my opinion. But since they are, that means that what we count as political must be a wide berth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like trans rights.
Yes.
Human rights and environmental, like, should not be political, but
they shouldn't be political. But since they are, that means that what we define as politics is almost universal.
You know what's
to the
crazy,
point that,
though? A lot of this, I don't want to say domination, but a lot of this is from the influence of American media and American politics.
Oh yeah.
What American people deem as political is now like other people is deeming it as political because I don't know why people like to follow you guys. Like I just don't get that part of the world. Maybe bigger countries that have a very clear identity or whatever doesn't, but like some countries do, and it's just really weird, man. Like
it's so frustrating. And I don't know if these countries are following one thing with America that is been a long time coming and is now starting to show these clashes is I don't know, you can speak of this, Fo, but for me growing up, you didn't talk about politics. That was personal stuff, that was, that was like your opinion, and if you want to cause a fight, then you might go at it, but otherwise, you just kind of shut up so that you can, keep your friends. And in a way, I have opinions about, how that was kind of an orchestrated thing by maybe a certain party to keep it that way, so that as a result, we can make politics almost this taboo, like dirty thing, so that we don't want to talk about it, even though it's like
you don't
constantly
question what the people above are doing.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't question what's going on, and also that we don't just have these arguments, but then also as a result, that way we can have these things such as, oh, hey, this is wrong. Trans rights are human rights. Hey, shush down now. Don't sit at the dinner table. We don't need to talk about that right now.
And then you go right into all the sex positions right after that.
Exactly. But that's the thing though, is so that sometimes I wonder, like, oh gosh, I hope that's not getting taken across, because it's a huge issue over here, at least, of how how very politics turns into the no, we don't need to talk about how like, Uncle Tom is racist.
A very good example that I have is I see people on like I'll just use Malaysia as an example because I'm on some of the Malaysian circles,
Right.
and I see some of the opinions being made by Malaysian people, and some of the shit that's being parroted is like the same as like the American right.
Yeah.
Shit like what's the movie from Captain Marvel, right?
Captain Marvel?
That's a
That is a
movie.
movie.
Okay, they were like, why is this being made such a feminist thing? And I'm like,
Oh.
why are you so fucking American right now? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Because number one, it shows that you can't think for yourself. Like, it's different when you parrot the opinion of like somebody you know, whatever. It's completely different when you parrot opinions of a country you haven't even been to. I'm just assuming, but like you know
That's
what
why
I mean?
people who have the right beliefs for the wrong reasons are very dangerous because they'll extrapolate it in the wrong directions and apply it to the wrong things.
There's
And
that
then you're the
issue.
villain for disagreeing with them because hey, they're not the racist ones.
Yeah, there's that issue.
And this
too,
was
that comes.
something I kind of brought up as well. I feel like people will be pissed off at 60s in Fallujah for the wrong reasons. Not for
That's
the
fair.
reasons not for the reasons that it's another
Sure.
American game made for American people using American point of view. Not as that about a game of American armed forces going into a foreign land and fucking shit up, but more of like, oh, it's not they're going, the war is not political. Like, that is bad, but also these other things are bad. And I noticed that no games media have brought up any other voice other than the game dev. I've seen like 3 or 4 interviews. Games industry, Polygon. Games industry is the website. Gamesindustry.biz, Polygon, and a couple others. But nobody else is like. It's just, I don't know. It's just really sad. I feel like this should be
interesting-
talked more about.
Yeah. There's always what's the word? Is it a straw man? I don't remember what the fallacy is, but like I was just reading today, there was some drama going on because there's an article published about the suffering that female games journalists go through. People are like, oh, suffering. When I think of suffering, I think of my grandfather in World War II. And it's like, okay,
God.
yes, that's suffering. But so is this. There are multiple kinds of suffering, right? Like it's not like
God,
like
yeah, I
that's-
hate
this
that one.
can't be a problem because other problems exist. There's only one problem. Just like no, I don't understand.
Ugh, those arguments are so exhausting. And
It's
yes,
the
you
worst.
hear it a lot with
engage.
feminist arguments because all of a sudden
Yeah.
they start to care about some other country that's also, not good to their women. It's like, well, you could go there and, have this thing, and they're probably even being racist because it's probably not happening in that country. But
False equivalence.
yes, it might be false equivalence,
okay.
might be
false
it. Yeah.
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 There's so
Ugh,
many
it's so
fallacies. I had to go through a list. I know what you were talking about. I just can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ugh, it's
I
frustrating.
completely forgot about this one point that makes this guy looks way worse. This Peter Tungte guy.
Oh boy.
Worse.
Yeah, he made training programs
God.
previously for like the CIA and armed forces.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
What?
And
Good.
If I have my facts right,
Just
the
like the
previous game was
simulations.
being funded by the CIA, or at least part of it was being funded by the CIA.
Oh my god.
But don't worry, it's gonna be realistic and not propaganda.
He said that
It's gonna
he's
also
left that
drive people
industry-
away from the army.
He said that hasn't
this-
had like any contact with that part of the world, like CIA, for a long time now. But like, it's also part of history.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I totally believe that. Lord, people. Oh my gosh. I almost I think we should talk about it. I think it's important. At the same time, I'm also struggling and hoping that this game just becomes such an unknown that it doesn't
that'd be cool.
reach anywhere. You know what I mean? Like that it just dies in the water. That people just stop talking about it. And I'm not, please don't misunderstand. I'm not one of those people that think that, racism will stop if we just stop talking about it kind of thing. I'm not trying to say that. It's just more from a perspective of what they want is for this game to get known and famous and spread around, right?
Yeah.
And
Like
what better
any
way to
No
stop?
bad publicity.
Kinda, yeah.
Like
and
that
again,
other
no,
game,
these
Hatred. What was that game?
I don't remember.
Do you remember that game? Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
top-down
I remember
shooter,
you're
I think it was
talking
black
about.
and white, and you just killed civilians. I think it was called Hatred.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
Yeah, and it got
That
really
sounds right.
famous because of all the negative publicity.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it actually did well, but
Well, like, wasn't there also another game where you're like a school shooter?
I think that one was brought down by
Probably.
Steam in like 2 days or something.
Okay.
But Hatred was like it didn't do enough to be like banned. I think it was banned. I'm not really sure. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Yeah, and again, like, it's such a hard line because on the one hand, these are super important to like just bring to light of this. Hey, why do we keep making these very American-centric war games in history? But on the other end too, it's just like I don't want this to get famous. I want this to die.
I would say
that
this
it just
though.
doesn't do well.
I think it's too late for that. People have
that's
started talking
fair.
about
Yeah.
it, so I think we should talk more about it from the right perspectives.
That's fair.
And yes, there
That's
is a
fair.
right and wrong opinion on this. Fuck you.
The skirmish sucks, but yeah. Well, maybe it'll have.
I think
Watch
it's
this like
bit
a really good game though. Watch like the gameplay is like super good. It's not going to be, but watch.
We'll never hear the end of it. I'm playing it because
It's
of the
so
gameplay,
technical.
guys. There's a million other games you can be playing that have really good gameplay.
Yeah.
Like you're not. Ugh, I always hate that argument because I'm like, you're not like you're not what's the word I'm looking for? There's lots of games out there. You didn't need this one.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we've got that out. I got it out of my
Get that out of your system.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want a good game with good gameplay, you should play like Sensual Adventures, the game. So I think that one has better game. Sensual Adventures.
The game
The
that I think is the current hottest game. I haven't heard
Valheim.
people like Among Us in a while. Valheim's blowing up.
Yeah, 3 million.
I
I haven't
already.
played it yet. Yeah,
It's on my
early
wish
access.
list. Yeah.
It's on my. It's been on my list for a couple months, and then suddenly everybody I knew was playing it. I don't
Yeah.
know what triggered that.
So they just recently
I'm not.
updated yesterday. 3 million people are playing it now. 3 million owners, and it's only $20 on Steam. That's actually not
It is.
bad.
No.
Basically, it's an early access, open world survival game, base building, all that. But the reason
Okay.
why a lot of people like it
Vikings.
is because it's very accessible. You don't have to worry about hunger.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about thirst too as well.
Okay.
Right, and
Your
repairing
equipment-
is a thing you have to worry about, but it
Yeah.
doesn't cost anything.
Yes.
It's just an
Got
action
it.
you have to perform every now
Yeah.
and then.
So that's like
Interesting.
oh, that's really accessible, and apparently it's really fun to play with. And it runs on potatoes.
Oh, I
Nice.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
The
because
things
it's
that appeal to
the
me,
textures are
this
not
has
like
gotten-
high res or anything or something like that.
It's got good like RPG mechanics, like skills, and apparently the
okay.
combat feels really good.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's very goal driven. Like your goal is to beat this troll. You're like, okay, well, I'll work towards that. So that's
That's
nice.
cool.
Not
What's
just
it
be
called?
here's
Valheim.
Valheim.
VALHI.
One word.
HEIM.
Found it. Okay, I thought you said Valheim, and I was not finding it. I was very confused.
You can play co-op, PVE, 2 to 10 players.
Yep.
I don't think there's PvP, or it might be like in the works because it's quite early access. But it's like
Gotcha.
Yeah,
one
I
of
would
those
agree.
really good overwhelmingly positive. That's like
Yeah, for
just
sure.
blowing up.
Yeah, I would have started playing it, but I'm still trying to beat or get to the current point of the raft. I'm playing raft right now,
Oh,
which
that's another one I want to
it's
play.
it's work. There's a lot of it's like the opposite of Valheim in that you spend a lot of time eating, drinking, repairing your ship, and just a lot of chorey maintenance in it. So I don't know
with
that I'd
Valheim-
recommend it.
Whenever you feel like playing, let me know. I might get it. We can play together.
Okay. I will probably the person I play every Wednesday I play games with an old college buddy, and we almost always play sandbox games like 7 Days to Die or now it's the raft. Once we're done with the raft, which will probably be like in 2 weeks or so, I'm guessing, we'll probably switch over to Valheim. Maybe No Man's Sky, but probably Valheim.
So you're saying to play with you, I need to go to your old college? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yep. Get a degree. Come
All right,
back.
go on. Get that degree.
It's all remote now. It's easy.
I don't know if you like the tuition, though.
Yeah. It's not worth it. Whatever.
So yeah, that's
Also,
blowing
slightly
up.
related, on the topic of the U.S. military, I watched the Monster Hunter movie.
That's
Oh
out.
gosh, that came
has-
out?
It did. It came out
A
a couple days ago.
Why did you? Oh god!
I thought
didn't know
usually
about
trailers come out and then like it takes a while more until the movie comes out. No.
It's been a while. It's been like a
Really?
month or two. I don't know.
Okay.
Tell us about it. I didn't even know it was out.
How good is Tony Jaa in it? That's what I want to know.
He's pretty good. He doesn't really do a lot. I mean, he's fine. Is
he there to help Mila Jovovich to be the hero kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The movie. You guys saw the old King Kong, like Jack Black and
yeah. Oh my god, that was
all those people in it. It is very, very similar to that. There's like scenes of running and being chased by like dinosaurs. Basically, there's scenes of being attacked by giant bugs. There's not as much monster hunting as I want at all. The monster hunting that is there is very good and very cool. The effects are good. A lot of the little world details are really cool, but just too much of the movie is just American military fights and gets wrecked by monsters. I mean, it looks cool. It's just not the movie I really wanted. I wanted a Monster Hunter movie, not
in the name.
Kind of generic. Yeah.
I wanted a hero who hunts monsters.
I wanted a lot of that. Ron Perlman's in it a little bit. He's looking pretty old, but his costume's cool.
That's funny.
He has like 3 lines. I wouldn't recommend it. Especially, I mean, even if you're a fan of Monster Hunter, like it's not bad. If you're gonna see it, go see it. Whatever. But there's better action movies.
Fair enough.
Please tell me that your cinemas are not open. It is, isn't it?
I don't. I know there's certain theaters that you can rent out for relatively cheap.
I think our cinemas might have opened up. I don't know.
I know there's some that are open up. They're like they only book like every other row and like only one party per row kind of stuff. So they are kind of open. Some of them are kind of open. Last I heard, but it fluctuates, as rules change. I've never gone. I haven't looked into going, so I don't know really.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really like cinemas.
Same.
I mean, I liked them before. They're okay, but like I don't. It's just like it's a reason to get out of the house. And now I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I miss going to cinemas. That was kind of the thing my wife and I would like. That was like our kind of date nights would be going to the cinema. So I miss them, but like
I've been tempted to rent out a theater just to go. I think I don't like cinema. I mean, I don't know. Cinema audiences are a real double-edged sword. Like if I'm going to go see an anime movie or like the retro movie nights, it's great to see that in a full theater. But then I don't like seeing like Star Wars or a Marvel movie in a packed theater as much. I find the audience is a little too distracting for that.
I hear you. Yeah, I see. The thing is that often those movies I end up watching more. Well, not really anymore, but I used to watch Star Wars movies when they would first come out multiple times, only because I usually had a way of going opening night. But then I would also go back with like some friends. But then I would also have to kind of go back because my family was going to go see it. It was a free ticket. And then my boyfriend at the time would be coming over to, with me. And so then we'd have to see it then again. So I was very used to seeing it multiple times. I've actually been to a lot of opening for movies, or at least I used to, mostly because my wife kind of has to for her job. So, yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm getting a hot chocolate and a cookie. Is that for me?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got cookie. All right.
Cookie.
Jeez. All right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you. Anyway, that was very random. Sorry about that. My point is, though, so I was very used to, I kind of became used to, like, going in on opening nights, basically because with my wife's job, like, she kind of has to be in the pulse of those kinds of things or else I can't write the article, basically. So, it is, I will say it is a mixed bag. It's kind of cool because it's like, ooh, it's like we're all here together, like, when it first is happening, but it is a mixed bag because sometimes you get really unlucky with some really rowdy audiences, and that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, again, it just depends on the movie. Like when I saw like a Bruce Lee movie in theaters, an old in a retro night, people like doing like a Rocky Horror type thing to it. Like that's fun to be part of that. But then like if I'm watching Iron Man,
right?
What?
That was a bit more interactive, kind of, right? Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror is it's supposed to be completely interactive.
Oh, okay.
I've never been to one. I'm still a virgin, but yeah, sure.
Like Rocky Horror has people like get up in the aisles and dance and like throw toast at the screen. There's like you can like Google it. It's like a list of things that people frequently do. So I do kind of like that when it's like supposed to happen. But like I remember watching Iron Man 1 in theaters, and something happened, and people were like standing up and applauding. That's like a standing ovation in the middle of a movie for like Iron Man, like putting his mask down. Like, what? Sit down. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Like, I get the excitement, and sometimes you can feel like it kind of like the excitement kind of moves you as well.
Maybe I'm just jealous that I don't feel emotions that strongly.
That's fair.
I mean, to be fair, some of it is kind of lame and cringy.
Yeah.
I would say like the scene where Captain America, spoilers I guess, Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. That one was really cool.
Yes.
It was cool.
I wouldn't mind
my audience reaction's a little strong.
I wouldn't mind like some kind of applause or like woohoo like. But,
our theater. Yeah, see, I was there opening night, and that was a moment where people went, "Oh!" and that was cool. That was cool.
And I think I would prefer like an action-packed movie with like energetic audiences rather than like a quiet movie where I'm getting annoyed a little bit by somebody kicking my seat a little bit or like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I like it better when it's a comedy and people are jeering. Like when everyone's laughing together, that's when it works. Like watching like a Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, and everyone laughs when the DJ like closes the laptop on a guy's hand. That's hilarious. But I don't like people. I don't like cheering. I like laughing. I guess is
that's fair. That's fair.
Instinct.
Yeah, I have found because I've done opening nights for some of the latest Star Wars and Marvel movies. I would personally say the Marvel ones are built better for it. Just, I think it's because it's almost like they know when they're making those movies, the timing. They almost, I feel like, just know, and so it's a little.
They pace it out well.
Yeah, and so it's not near like you might miss some stuff, but I think it's been better. The Star Wars ones, mixed bag, since the movies themselves have been a mixed bag, I think is the problem. So, like, Force Awakens, was cool. That was a good one. But the other ones were, I think people were just kind of like, huh?
So, I haven't watched WandaVision yet. I'm going to. I'm just waiting for everything to come out. But I saw a couple of,
so good
headlines talking about WandaVision. And it was basically saying stuff like, WandaVision is just like a movie being spread out. That's a TV show. That's literally describe a TV show.
Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts when I see those headlines because it's meant to be a TV show and it's split up into episodes. And I love WandaVision. I'm so obsessed with it now.
But it's like it's people like who's grown up watching just Marvel, I guess, or just Disney, Marvel, Star Wars stuff, and not understanding what the fuck TV shows are, number one. And number two, I saw people like, just spoiler, I guess. I already spoiled myself with the WandaVision a little bit.
Okay.
Spoilers for WandaVision in like 2 minutes. So like, the aspect ratio changes, right, after a certain episode. And people are like, whoa, it changes from old TV to new Marvel. Like, no, motherfucker, it's just 16:9. Okay?
New Marvel. It's just the Marvel aspect ratio that nobody else uses.
The beauty of WandaVision, I love WandaVision. I could talk about it all day, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. I love WandaVision. It's so good. I love it. I love it. But part of what makes it so good is, it spoofs a lot of old time. Like, each episode is spoofing off a different decade of sitcoms. And they even get, like, the way it's shot different. They make it match the way it's supposed to, and the aspect ratio and everything, which makes it super cool because in between scenes they kind of get to the more mystery aspects, and so that everything like looks different. Like, it's more like, that's how like the TV show is kind of breaking a little bit, because then all of a sudden it looks more modern and stuff like that. With that, people are weird. That's the whole point.
I would not be upset at all. I don't know if I'd say I'd be happy, but I'd be happy if the WandaVision was purely just sitcom parodies and didn't really have any of the other stuff.
I love the other stuff. I really am so interested in the mystery. But I agree. I would just watch a whole season of them just spoofing a different sitcom for sure.
Yeah,
I love it. So good.
Breaking news.
So on point.
Breaking news. Disney has patented the 16:9 aspect ratio. So.
I thought you were going to say, did you see that, I think it was Daredevil, no, Punisher and Jessica Jones rights returned to Marvel?
Oh, really? Okay.
Wait, what?
Jessica Jones, the rights to Jessica Jones and Punisher, like today or yesterday.
So because previously was Netflix.
It was something like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
It
I
was
think
something
Netflix.
weird. It was something weird.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize that Jessica Jones hadn't returned. Okay, cool. I never watched Jessica Jones, but
It's the best one, I think. Oh, Punisher's pretty good.
I watched Daredevil mostly. My wife really wanted me to see it, and
Daredevil
I
is
think
also good.
Yeah, that one's
Daredevil
pretty
1
good.
is good. Jessica Jones 1 is good. Luke Cage, the first
That's a
half
good
of
point.
1 is good. Iron Fist, don't fucking watch it.
Yeah, I remember. Don't
I
watch
didn't
Iron
finish it. I
Fist.
couldn't
Don't watch
finish
Iron Fist. It's really shit. Defenders, I tried watching it. I thought it was cool that what's her name is the villain, the one from Alien, the big
Sigourney Weaver.
Yes, she's the bad guy, right? In Defenders, I believe
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I thought it was cool, but I just couldn't get into it. And to be fair,
yeah, I mean, there's too much Iron Fist.
Yes, I think to be fair, it was Iron Fist. I really hate him.
He just
I really
ruins
hate
everything.
him so much.
His character's the worst.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm
Like I
staying
said,
far away.
I
from
actually
Iron
did a
Fist.
review of Iron Fist like a long time ago on my channel, and
Yeah.
like, the whole fucking show, he's just I'm the Iron Fist, and he looks at his fist like that's. I want to punch him so bad, and he barely walks out. He barely did any of the choreography is so bad. The thing is, when you go from Daredevil and Jessica Jones to that, like it's just the quality is so different.
The problem with Jessica Jones season 1 to 2 is because season 1 has friggin' David Tennant as the bad guy, and you can't really go any higher than that. Like it's so he's such a good actor, and the character is so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was almost like a
evil
horror
guy,
thing for
too.
me watching Jessica Jones season 1.
Yeah, I mean that
That's
one's
why the
got some really psychological.
Actually, season
like,
2, the
fucked
first
up stuff
episode
in
2
it.
was kind of horror-y to me.
That's kind of why I'm
remember.
scared to watch Jessica Jones. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
I
very,
think
very,
like
it fucks you up a
years
little bit.
years ago I feel like I could have handled it, but these days I've talked about this before when I talked about like trying to watch Game of Thrones. I don't know if it's because of my life or what, but like I just have a lot less patience and just a lot less of like ability to really watch those things without just getting really like viscerally upset.
Yeah.
One of my issues with Daredevil, honestly, was just kind of how gruesome it was.
Yeah.
It's just, it is, and I'm not saying that against it. The show itself was still really good. The actors are amazing. I love the characters, even though I was kind of weirded out that the ship changed. I was kind of more for his pal and the girl to get together, not with him, but that's okay.
Froggy and her. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever, not my it's their choice. But anyway, everyone's really good. But it did get and also having the Punisher was really cool. But there were
Holy
just
shit,
some
Punisher season 1 was so gruesome.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but like I just have to say, like watching Daredevil, it was just kind of after it was like, okay, I know you're trying to be like Batman, but you know, no, he's dead. Like after a while, I just had less patience for it. Like I know it's meant to be less gruesome because they're not dead, but
Batman runs him over with a car or something. He's not dead. He's just sleeping.
Exactly. It's just like, okay, I don't know, man. So it's a good show, but I had a hard time watching it. And I know Jessica Jones deals with some, I mean, as a woman, I can say some really primal fears as a woman. I just know, I know a bit about the bad guy and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to really watch that. I appreciate that it exists, but I don't know if I want to experience it right, especially right now.
If you do want to watch it, you gotta treat it like a horror movie. Like get yourself ready with like warm blankets or something, whatever that makes you feel good.
Yeah,
kind of
fair
thing.
to be
honest,
watching the
to be
daytime.
fair, I would say it will be rewarding if you can get through it, but I would understand if you don't want to even try. Like it's quite.
Yeah.
The ending's pretty cathartic.
Yes, that's the only reason I'm like, I might be wanting to, because I do happen to know that essentially she succeeds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that might be good. But yeah, no, for sure. I might someday, for sure. But it's one of those that's like, I gotta really mentally prepare. It definitely is the kind of show that I'm glad I didn't just like try to watch it without knowing anything about it, because I think I would have turned it off if I had no idea.
I think you would also really enjoy when Luke Cage makes an appearance. Like the Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, like. That's such a good ship. Like that's such a good ship.
Yes, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Heart.
So it's kind of related. I started watching. I'm 2 episodes into Netflix's Alice in Borderland, which is pretty gory and
Japanese,
needlessly
right?
sexual sometimes, but it's good. I'm liking it. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm going to reference to moderately obscure animes. No Game No Life crossed with Gantz. The idea is just like three people just kind of like.
What's the one where you get like kids from a high school get teleported into a room with like a sphere? Is that Gantz?
That's Gantz.
That's Gantz. Okay.
It's in Gantz. It's like when they die, like the moment of death.
They
Instead of dying, they go to this room with a sphere, and then the sphere's like, "Hey, here's guns and a suit. Go fight aliens." This is the same, except instead of fighting aliens, they just have to play in games like hide and go seek or tag or whatever. And of course, people just die left and right constantly. Yeah.
I heard it's really good.
I'm liking it so far. I'm only 2 episodes in, but it's good. But like again, very
gory.
violent, very pretty gory, and they make a point to have sex a lot because
so it's
I guess
basically
Netflix. I don't know.
like
as you do
torture horror porn.
As you do.
Of?
The I would say no. It's funny because one of the first people to recommend the show to me said it was like elements of Saw. I was like, oh, then I'm out. But it's not that. I mean, I can see where they said it was Saw because it is like, you want to play a game, you're gonna die. But I would not say it revels or focuses on like pain or suffering. At least not in the first 2 episodes. Okay. Like death is pretty quick. Like if you do the wrong thing, a laser just comes down from the ceiling and like a hole just appears through your head and there's blood. But it's not that much blood.
I can handle that. I can handle that.
Okay, Sarah. Okay.
I used to play the Zero Escape series. And those games I probably would not be able to play nowadays. Those were some messed up games. You're talking
about the 999.
I wouldn't be
Zero
surprised.
Escape series.
Nonary, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets bloodier later, because for some reason in the second episode, some of the characters have like exploding neck collars. Yeah. It's like, why? You already have magical space lasers. Like, why do you need exploding neck collars?
Because
I don't get it.
That's what you do when you put people in legal games. You gotta have exploding neck collars.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't you get the trope full? Like, that's just.
Yeah, gore porn is just something.
Like all these like torture porn. They have a handbook. Exploding neck collars is page 1. Right before the index.
True.
It's before the index.
You know what's better? What's better than exploding neck collars? You're right though. That's the more tropey one. I love the magnetic collars from Wild Wild West.
What did that one
do again? They have like these big they have like these metal almost like cones of shame, and it's running through a grassy field, and they shoot out these spinning blades, which because magnets like go after the collars.
Oh my god!
Wild Wild West is a horrible movie, but I love it.
It's pretty good bad. It's
one of those like it has Will Smith and what's his name? Calvin Klein?
Kevin Costner. Kevin Klein? Yeah, not Costner. You're right. Klein.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a stupid fun movie about cowboys and giant robot spiders. Like it makes no fucking sense at all.
Who is it? Is it Patton Oswalt? There's some comedian who has this great story about they met with a director of Wild Wild West like a decade before Wild Wild West, back when they were working on like a Superman movie. And he's like, and then Superman's gonna fight this giant spider. And eventually he ended up not making the movie. They ended up giving it to a different director. But like,
is
the guy clearly has this
Superman movie?
I don't know, but the guy clearly has a fixation on spiders. Like, there's giant spiders everywhere. Like, I just need a movie with a giant spider.
He should just make an Earth Defense Force movie, or like that
would be pretty awesome.
What's the American one?
Isn't that what it's called?
No, Earth Defense Force is a Japanese game, but there's an American like book movie series.
Oh, with giant bugs in general. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think, is about giant spiders. That's an old black and white movie.
I'm gonna Google giant bugs in space movie.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, yeah. Starship Troopers.
Okay, yeah, in
where
space.
the humans are Nazis, basically. They're the fascists.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because people are like, oh, the main character's supposed to be from, like, South America. Why does he have white, blonde hair and blue eyes? It's like, because he's a Nazi. Like, did you not get all the symbols? They're literally using like World War II costumes. Like you didn't get it. Like a what if possibility. People just didn't get the point of the movie. That movie's great. I love that movie. Yeah. Paul Verhoeven. He's some stinkers, but
I never
RoboCop,
the others,
such good. He's a good director.
First one was pretty good.
That's true. After one, don't watch them. Yeah. They're bad. They get bad real fast.
Yeah, it's a space movie about giant bugs. So.
Yeah, it has Doogie Howser in it, and it has Biff from Back to the Future in it. It's good. They're fun. I'm doing my part.
So,
very
what
memeable.
shitty bad movies you watched recently?
Okay, so Monster Hunter was the one shitty bad movie I watched recently.
Okay.
The other one I watched was Willy's Wonderland. the Nicolas Cage Five Nights at Freddy movie.
Oh, that one's out.
I didn't realize
It's out.
So it's
What
either
happened to time?
either these movies are coming out way faster than we
hot.
thought, or we have no concept of time anymore. Like,
Probably both. Probably both.
Yeah, I mean, there's
how
no
is- so-
theatrical release anymore.
That's true, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I was curious about this movie. How much is it ripped off of FNAF?
I mean, I'm not that familiar with FNAF,
Fair enough.
so I don't know the lore. I mean, the premise is like basically Nicolas Cage go into this building, survive for the night. We're not going to tell you anything. The robots attack you, and they talk. So the movie, it's well made. There's some elements of it that I really, really like. I just think there's multiple scenes where it's like, oh yeah, we're a horror movie. We're gonna be scary, and it just has like Nicolas Cage standing in a room while like the monster just goes boo at him and goes away like multiple times, and like of course it's singing like children nursery rhymes, and it just doesn't make any sense because like they're like, oh yeah, we chased like these bank robbers in here like 20 years ago, and then when we broke in to arrest them, turns out they'd committed a satanic ritual and put themselves in the bus. Like, okay, if these are like bank robbers, why are they like singing children nursery rhymes? Like it just like it didn't make any sense, but it was. Nicolas Cage was pretty fun in it. His character does not speak. He just walks around and just beats the shit out of these robots, and that's
So he
pretty
just
fun.
wins. So it's not,
He just wins.
So it's not like FNAF
Yeah,
where you fucking die.
They literally have the line, "He's not trapped in there with them. They're trapped in here with him." That's a quote from the movie.
I gotta watch
It
this.
looks like a fun watch.
That's too funny.
It is more fun than Monster Hunter. That's for sure.
That's for sure. It has to be.
So what's the horror
I think
part
because
of this?
honestly, maybe it's a little worse. I don't know, but like it makes it more entertaining.
It says it's a
For
comedy
sure.
horror film. How much of it is comedy? How much of it
Comedy?
is horror?
I didn't laugh at all. I also wasn't scared at all, so I don't know.
Oh, that's
I'd say
too
it was
bad.
neither of those things.
That
I'd say it's an
sucks.
action
I wish it was
movie.
a
I don't know.
actual comedy though.
Atmospheric. Yeah, I'm trying to think what they were even trying to be funny with. The premise is like Nicolas Cage like has his tires blown out, and the guy who's gonna replace his tires is like, oh, I only take cash. You have to like work off the tires by cleaning out the building. And so like Nicolas Cage will like murder a robot and then just start like cleaning the floor. And that's kind of funny. Like there's like multiple montages of him like cleaning the bathroom or whatever, which I found pretty funny.
Apparently,
Okay, yeah.
it's like a 5.5 on IMDb and 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to watch it.
And there are kids. Like of course like the high school kids also, they break in on a dare or whatever.
And they die.
And so I think they're probably supposed to be comedic, but I don't know. I didn't find it funny.
I don't know. I just find that
I found it
they lost
entertaining.
an
It's
opportunity
okay.
there. Putting Nicolas Cage, the serious character guy, in a comedic situation would be like,
Oh man, I watched. There's this improv group I follow on Twitch called Convoy. They're an LA-based improv group. Like 5 years ago, they made a movie, and then the studio that they'd produced it with, like everybody changed, like they all quit, and so nobody at the studio like knew the movie existed, so it never got released. So they just put it on their Twitch channel and it stayed up for the 2 weeks that Twitch movies stay up for. And the movie is basically these people break into Nicolas Cage's house to steal his Action Comics #1 because it's worth like $1.5 million. And at one point in time, Nick Cage was going to play himself, but then they're like, oh, he's not gonna. He doesn't want to play himself. So that's why they got to direct it. They wrote it, but somebody else was going to direct it if Nick Cage had been involved. But in the movie, every time you see Nick Cage, he's played by somebody different. Which is really funny. So you just get to see like a bunch of different Nicolas Cage impressions, and it's like from like known actors you'd recognize from like The Office and stuff sometimes. So
Okay.
that was pretty
funny.
fun to see. Yeah. Those are the two bad ones I watched. I also need to watch. This is a plug for a movie I haven't seen yet. One of my friends also directed a movie starring Pedro Pascal. It's on Amazon Prime called Blood-Sucking Bastards. It's a vampire movie. So I'm gonna watch that. Basically, probably tonight after this podcast. And I'll forget about it and won't talk about it on the next podcast.
And Pedro Pascal has been cast as Joel from
Yes.
Last of Us, right?
And
Remind me,
did
is that a
see that.
HBO movie or a series?
I don't remember.
I don't.
I think it was a
sorry.
series.
But it's HBO, right?
I don't probably.
Do
I
they
don't know
make
who else would
movies?
do
They
it.
do.
Maybe Netflix.
Yeah.
HBO makes movies, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a
Interesting.
Last of
And then I
Us
don't remember
Deadpool.
her name, but she was a Game of Thrones star.
Yeah, the only reason I don't
she
know
played
is because she's in Game of Thrones and I didn't watch it.
Yeah, she's not like a main part either, but she does
Oh.
play like a little girl who's very strong, basically.
So,
she's
Game
kind
of
of more
Thrones,
of a bit
Bella
part.
This is gonna
Ramsey,
be
a
like the Last of
14-year-old
Us
girl.
1, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably. Oh, her. She's the
Yeah.
weird.
She's the
girl.
lady of the Bear Isle, basically. They're
Yeah,
very strong
the
and
iron
loyal, and
ones.
she's like this little girl that's like very. It's funny, but like she's meant to be,
She was
very
cast well in
different.
that character.
I haven't watched this, so I don't know how good it is, but there's a movie or a series on Netflix. I can't remember what. But it's based off a book called White Tiger. It's written by an Indian writer. And the movie is American made, but with Indian actors. And I believe a Hispanic director. I'm not really sure. But anyways, it's about like rich family has like a servant, because in India that's very common. And the servant then becomes rich by being like a gangster or something. And I believe
Okay.
and I asked my friend if the book was one of those like bootstraps kind of books, or
yeah.
it actually criticizes this like social disparity in like the class, and apparently it's the second one, so maybe it's something you guys want to look up.
Cool.
Again,
What's
I have
it
no
on?
idea. White Tiger, I'm pretty
Is it also?
sorry.
Okay.
What?
It's called White. Yeah, I was asking, is it called White Tiger as well as the book? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a film.
Okay.
Indian actors and Iranian American director.
Okay.
American made American studio
Mm.
production.
Neato.
But it is on Netflix, so
Yeah.
it's already out. So
Cool.
hoping to find some time to watch this, because I just want to give it a chance, see if it's up.
Yeah.
For what else did you play anything?
Well, one last thing I watched really quick. I'm like 14 episodes into an anime called I guess there's two last things called World Trigger, which I'm liking. It's like a 10-year-old anime or 6-year-old anime. It's not super new, is the point. It's kind of shonen-y. Basically, high school kids live in a city, and every now and then, essentially, aliens appear in the city, and they have to use their powers that they technology derived from the aliens to fight the aliens. The thing that makes this anime good is that it is very like explicitly like it documents how the powers work. Like on this episode, we're going to explain like what these powers, like what the options are, and here's how they work. And so then you have a really good baseline of knowledge. So later on, when you just see somebody combine two powers to get them to do a completely different thing, they don't really spend any time on it, which is kind of cool. Just like it trusts you to like be able to figure out like, oh, he used bullets, but he made him go slower because you can control the speed of them, and everyone else makes them go faster or whatever. So World Trigger is good. And like I said, the last thing I watched, I'm watching a show called The Comeback, which is a very interesting show. It stars Lisa Kudrow of Friends fame, and this is after she was on Friends, and the context of the show is she is an actress who used to be famous for a sitcom, and she's trying to make a comeback in Hollywood by getting into reality television. So the show The Comeback is the raw footage of them filming a show called The Comeback, where she's trying to like get into other shows, like just do Hollywood stuff. So it's very meta. It's very funny. It's fairly awkward humor, kind of like early Office, like Michael Scott stuff, where she just does like really awkward things, trying to like be likable all the time, and it doesn't work out that well. But I'm liking it. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. It's only like 2 seasons long, I think. I'm not done with the first season yet. So yeah, that's it for things I watched. Things I played. Pretty much just Raft and Division. I think that's it. I'm kind of nearing my limit on Division. Like,
Same.
like I'm getting tired of the gameplay, and I'm not getting rewards anymore at a rate that I need them.
Yeah, it's the not having a lot of goals and rewards now, because we are pretty much close to season 4 end, and from what I gathered, they said season 4 was gonna be the last like content stuff, but because of its popularity and a bunch of new players coming in and spending money, they're gonna put out more content in this year, so we'll see what kind of stuff they put out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if there's stuff for me to get, I'll probably log in to get it. But right now, my only goals are all locked behind RNG. Like, I want to get specific blueprints, which are completely RNG, and I want to get basically good occurrences of specific pieces of gear, which is very RNG. Because I can get the gear I want, but then the stats on it are crap. Like, it's, I wish the crafting was had a little more agency over that sort of thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to play next. I know BlizzCon's going on right now, and they just announced that Burning Crusade will be released for WoW Classic. So maybe I'll get back into WoW. Hopefully not. Hopefully I won't get back into any MMO, and I'll start recording stuff for my YouTube channel again. That's the happy path, but we'll see. I don't know.
What'd you do, Sarah?
That's it for me.
Very little. Been just so tired these last few weeks. I haven't even been on 14 very much.
Are you still playing 11?
To be honest with you. No. To 14. I haven't really been on Final Fantasy 14 too much.
But
I just
I remember
haven't.
you mentioning that you also started 11 or something, right?
No, that was I did a long time ago, but I
okay.
haven't gotten back into it now.
Mm.
But yeah, I just haven't really been going on. I've just been very tired in the evenings. However, my wife is finally trying to get through Phoenix Wright. She played the trilogy, the original trilogy, but of course had to get through Apollo Justice to play the 3DS games.
you know the latest news, right?
Wait, tell me. I'm not sure if I do.
On the Switch, there is pretty good evidence of what's the one that's like in like feudal Japan, like in the
the one that never came.
Yeah.
They're gonna translate it.
I'm not sure if they're gonna translate it, but it's gonna go onto the Switch, and hopefully it's gonna get translated. Please, Jesus fuck, that's like the only one I haven't played. Well, that and Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah, I haven't played the second Miles Edgeworth one
I only
either,
played
even
the
though I
first
have
one.
it as a ROM.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so exciting. But yeah, I finally made her play Apollo Justice, which, that is not a good game. I kind of forgotten how bad that one was. And then finally we're on the 3DS games, and they're much better. And that's just been a fun because I have not picked up Phoenix Wright in a minute. So, and I those only are on my 3DS. They're not on the Switch right now. So, cranking out the old 3DS, which was one of my favorite systems, and it's nice. I've been just like, give me another one, guys. Come on, make it for the Switch. Come on, please. I need this in my life. So, I've been kind of living vicariously through that, trying to help out when I can with some of those weird those weird court evidence stuff. WandaVision has taken a lot of my headspace right now, even though that's just one show a week. Just watched the latest episode, and I'm gonna be very sad when that show ends.
I saw something that I saw like a Marvel release schedule, which looks like they're gonna be having something coming out like every week for the rest of this year. It seems like.
Yes. So after WandaVision's done, it's I forget what it's called, but it's oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? Sam Wilson's superhero.
Oh yeah, Falcon.
It's Falcon and
Falcon Punch.
Yeah,
and the Winter Metal Soldier Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, Bucky Barnes. Yeah. So there's gonna be a Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show
For some
directly
reason I thought
after.
that was a movie, but you're right.
Yeah, it's a TV show direct there. That's gonna come out right after WandaVision ends. I guess I haven't seen the trailer, but I guess it's more of like an action focus. So probably your typical,
Sure.
kind of a serial. But I'm excited. I'm kind of happy that with this Marvel TV series thing, I'm quite pleased with how WandaVision came out. So I'll take my money.
Totally. According to Wikipedia, you get WandaVision, then you get the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, followed by Loki, followed by something called What If, followed by Miss Marvel, followed by Hawkeye. And then from there, we get a bunch of other stuff like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Armor Wars,
I'm just
and
waiting for
Untitled
She-Hulk and
Wakanda
Ironheart, but
series.
it sounds like I have to wait forever for those.
I know,
those are
probably.
2022, late 2022.
Late 2022.
I think.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Or after, they're after. Those are like 2023, sorry.
Yeah, I have a feeling what's happening, Shar, unfortunately, is they're probably like starting with the
really
familiar
popular ones,
characters and then trying to get to some of the new stuff,
Maybe
I
they
bet.
should, like, spread it out a bit. So popular and popular,
Yeah.
popular and popular, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
Well,
keep them going.
It's a good thing we have the shows because it seems like they're trying not to release movies during COVID times. Like they've been
Yeah.
sitting on
I mean,
Black
technically
Widow
they
for a
can
while
make
now.
movies and still release them on Disney, whatever.
They can, but they're clearly choosing not to.
They want the theater stuff.
They want all
which,
the money, the
Yeah.
max amount of money possible. So I don't
gonna
think that they can
guess-
hold out. I think they're gonna cave
I'm gonna
sooner.
guess it's because
Yeah.
they already have an established distribution channels worldwide for movies. It's gonna get everywhere, China, everything, all the big markets. While streaming services, you gotta go through like regulations and stuff, and you're not gonna get that too fast. That's what I'm assuming. It's probably they would just make more
yeah.
money with a theatrical release, probably.
Yeah, I could say
Yeah,
that.
distribution is already set up.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what Loki was never like a character I was like, "Oh, I love you, Loki." But I do know what will be interesting is this Loki show, if I recall correctly, takes place basically in kind of the alternate universe created by Endgame, where he
I didn't realize that wasn't the new canonical universe.
Well, I don't really see they're kind of being weird
don't
about
know.
it, and I don't know what they're going to choose to
Okay.
do because they keep saying like, "Oh, at the end of Endgame, they wrapped it all up, and there's no alternate universes." Except now we're having shows where there totally are alternate universes, so I don't really quite understand what they're trying to say.
Here's the one sentence premise from Wikipedia. Loki is brought to the mysterious Time Variance Authority organization after stealing the Tesseract during the events of Avengers Endgame and travels through time, altering human history, using it, ending up trapped in his own crime thriller.
So interesting.
So, interesting. A little vague, but interesting.
Yeah. What if I recall correctly, I guess it's based off a comic series, but it's pretty much from
Probably.
what I heard was kind of a disjointed like what if someone did this other thing in like MCU or something? I don't really quite understand
it's not
it.
like the What If comics.
Well, I don't know. It might be, but I don't know. I thought I heard a description of like it being literally different. You know, what if these scenarios in the MCU universe played out differently?
I mean, that
but
would
I
make
could be
sense, I
wrong.
guess.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really
that
know.
would probably be the safer option versus doing the crazy what ifs from the comics.
Yeah, I don't really know. And then after what if, what did you say? Oh, Miss Marvel. Super excited for that. I mean, what I really just like is right now they're kind of playing with different like show themes. I mean, WandaVision was kind of a mystery with a spoof on sitcoms. You know, Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be probably pretty much straight action and drama as we're used to. Loki's now being described as a crime thriller. Like, I really like it that I know it feels very almost fan fiction-y, but I really am enjoying it. I don't know.
Feels like they're
Honestly.
giving
Yeah.
more room to play around for the TV stuff.
Yeah.
I like this
Exactly.
because I think it lets them adapt comic series easier. Like, as much as I love the Logan movie, it would have been really cool to see a more true to the comics Old Man Logan series.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you do, Sarah?
I didn't really do much else.
Okay.
I can't think of anything. Move on.
I didn't watch anything, but I played and finished a couple of games. First one I played and finished was Haven. I think Fo knows this one. You played the demo for it.
Yeah, right. That's the one with the two, like the boy and the girl,
the
like the
couple,
hover bike
yep.
and whatever.
They hover boots. They can kind of
Boots.
glide.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
neon colors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or very.
So it's not bad.
That's the lo-fi,
I
but-
have like a 3 months. Like I want like a 3 months free Xbox Game Pass for PC kind of thing. So I was like, oh, all these like new indie games that I probably wouldn't pay, so might as well just fucking play for free. So Haven, it's about a couple that ran away from their like fascist controlling sci-fi dystopia type of planet to go onto this new planet, and then they found like, you know, previous evidence of previous colonization efforts by their for the period they were away from. It's a mix between not turn-based exactly, but more like a active time bar type of battle system. Active time bar turn-based.
Okay. Like a Child of Light.
Like a child of... Like, I guess so.
Or Mario and Luigi.
Like if you don't take an action, the enemy will just keep hitting you.
Got it,
Chrono
yeah.
Trigger.
Or certain Final Fantasies.
Certain
Yeah, Chrono
Final
Trigger.
Fantasies, yeah, with the ATB where you gotta wait. Just
I
a
generally
little bit
like
of
that.
The combat is like it's okay, and there's a bit of some active things you need to do, a little bit like that Mario RPG, the Paper Mario RPG. So
Like to
things-
dodge or mitigate damage kind of stuff.
certain things you need to time to get increased damage, that kind of thing.
Or Charles Barkley, Shut Up and Jam. That's the best example. I
haven't played that
sort
one.
of game. Oh man.
And it's a mix between a little bit of exploration, slightly open world-ish, but open world in
Okay.
the sense of you go to grid
A
to
level.
grid instead of just like and vision novel-ish basically. A lot of it is like just the two of them like talking and stuff.
How is that? Because that's the part of the demo that I thought like this writing's pretty average. Is how I felt about
It's
it.
okay. It's obviously
Okay.
like it's obviously like a thing for like younger like teenage
Yeah.
love kind of thing, I guess.
It's like a YA
young-
video game.
like a YA. Yeah, it's yeah. I'd say that it's like a bit of a YA
Because
love.
it gave me vibes like Zathura and the City of a Thousand Planets, that kind of stuff.
Overall, I think
Is that
it's okay.
Zathura? What's that called? Okay.
The gliding like flying mechanics is pretty fun.
Cool.
I feel like it was a couple hours longer than it needed to be. I spent 17 hours to finish it. I got a couple endings, a bad ending and a good ending. I'm not sure if there's any other endings. But basically, I got those endings just by making decisions at the end. Right at the end.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what it sounds like. Okay, great, wonderful.
Yeah. So I thought 15 is like pushing it. I had to spend like 17. And I didn't even finish everything. Like there were a couple areas where I didn't like finish everything I needed to do in the area. But overall, it's pretty.
Did you have to grind it all or anything, or farm,
I
or
wouldn't say so.
to get past
I
bosses?
wouldn't say so.
Okay.
It's mostly like the more you play, and then you get like ingredients to make food, and that's the food is like the one that really helps because it heals you.
Cool.
It increases your like experience bar and all that.
Oh.
The other game I played was Tell Me Why. I'm surprised.
I know we
you
talked
know
about
one,
that.
Sarah. Huh?
I feel like I know this game, and my brain's not coming up with it. I know I've heard this game before.
Oh, is it from
It's from
Life is Strange People?
Don't Nod, yeah.
Okay, that's why I've heard of it before.
Yeah.
Have not played it though.
Interestingly enough, this game is not available in Malaysia for whatever reason. So on Steam, but it was on Xbox Game Pass. So like, okay, fuck it. So it's shorter than the Life is Strange stuff. It's only 3 chapters. As far as I know, Life is Strange 1 is 2. There's 5 chapters each, and I think the
Yes.
Chloe one too, right? 5 chapters.
I think so. Yeah.
So
5 or 4.
Okay, so Tell Me Why is you play 2 characters, a trans man and his sister, and there's also a supernatural power thing that the two have, and it's just about them going back home to Alaska, Montana.
Looks cold in the
One of
trailer.
those snowy,
Cold American
cold
place.
places. And facing the past with their mother that they. This is not a spoiler because it's like right in the beginning, like very very close to the beginning. You find out like one of them killed the mother in self-defense.
Okay.
And then you started
Oh,
learning.
snap.
You started learning more and more about like what happened, what actually happened, blah blah blah, and all that, and them coming to terms with
Got
it.
it.
I would say it's okay. It's not as strong as Life is Strange 1 for sure, I would say. But I would say if you like the Don't Nod games, it's basically another one you should play. If you just
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how long was it for you?
It was shorter than I thought it would be. First chapter was pretty long, like 4 hours I feel. But second chapter and third chapter was like 2-3 hours. So overall, I'd say 10 for 3 chapters. So it's not super long.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good length
Yeah.
for me.
Oh, what I do like though, there are some puzzle elements in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mom is like this crafty person, and she like left a lot of clues behind puzzles, which I thought was cool.
Okay.
And you have like this book that you can refer to like try to get clues on the puzzles and all that. Voice acting is good. The characters are not very likable. I know I understand that some of it is you make the choices, but like some of the choices are still makes them kind of unlikable a little bit.
Gotcha.
But overall, it's okay. I say
Okay.
play it if you like their games, definitely.
Right.
I
It's
still
that style.
need to play the Chloe one, before the
So
storm.
do I. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the storm. Yep, I know. I do
was
too.
like halfway through the first chapter, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this, and I still need to play Life is Strange 2, which I have. I have all these games.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
All of this stuff I have.
I did not watch anything, but I'm just gonna go like stupid crazy fan Transformers for a little bit. I did get my shipment of 6 robots that I pre-ordered back in September last year.
Oh wow.
So that was really exciting. When they shipped it, it took like another 3 to 4 weeks to come. It was from like Singapore, so with the COVID and all that, I guess it just took a bit longer. Usually it takes about a week for any Singaporean stuff to come to KL, I guess. But it took like almost a month. So I was a bit worried. It was DHL with tracking and all that, but all the fucking robots came. Hasbro has this series called the Studio series, which basically is the robots from the movies. And I hate the movies. I hate the Beavers movies. But I love the 1986 cartoon movie, and they actually created a new line for the Studio series for the new 86 movie, for a new line for the old 86 movie. And the first wave was like I got all of them, and it's amazing. Like, I cannot tell you how crazy it is to like have such accurate, like being able to hold such accurate stuff that you only saw on screen. Like, it was crazy nice to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really not a fan of the Beaver stuff, which is not an unpopular opinion. It's actually a very popular opinion.
Right.
But yeah, that was mostly the stuff I did, I'd say. News time?
Nice.
Let's go.
Sure.
We already talked about the 6 days to Fallujah. We already mentioned Valheim. That's like big uncanny. The other one is you mentioned Burning Crusade. The other one is Diablo 2. Is getting a Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Yes, it is.
I didn't see that.
Actually looks pretty good, and I might get it. The only reservations I have for it is Warcraft 3 Reforged that they fucked up, and it's not.
Yeah.
Sure.
And a lot of the decisions of it fucking up is not because of the studio that made it. If I'm not mistaken, the studio, the team that made the Warcraft 3 Reforged was also the same team that made like StarCraft 2 and stuff. They've made good stuff. But the decision to like remove Warcraft 3 Classic from being able to be downloaded ever was definitely not made by a developer. It was definitely made by a corporate motherfucker. The suit. Yeah. So that is my only reservation about it. And I'm gonna guess if you own Diablo 2, go and fucking download it now. Like just save a copy somewhere. Just download it now. But this one is being made by a separate team. A studio that they actually bought recently called Vicarious Visions. They're like the people they're the masters of remakes now. They remade the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 that recently came out.
Oh,
they also remade the Crash.
Those were
Crash
well
Insane,
received.
The Crash Bandicoot one, the new one.
Oh wow!
Aren't they the same people that made the Spyro one? I think they.
I was about to say maybe. I don't know. I didn't, but I would not be surprised. They did Crash. They probably got Spyro as well.
Developers. Oh no, the Spyro one.
No.
Was made by Toys for Bob, Insomniac, and Iron Galaxy. So no, they did not. They did do the Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm gonna go check if I own Diablo 2 and go download it. Like seriously, just do that.
Yeah.
So,
just in case.
that's one. Next one is Stadia. We didn't talk about this last time, right?
Oh yeah, I think it happened like the day after or something.
Oh, you know what? I think it did. Yeah.
I think we talked about it on our chat, but not in a podcast.
Yeah.
Stadia
Yeah.
is it's no longer a thing.
It's just dead.
Yeah.
I don't even think my house knows, but I think they just assume it is.
Just whoever owns a Stadia kit, just keep it in the box, mint seal. It's probably going to be a collector's item in like a decade or two. Just keep it for now.
Yeah.
The fucked up thing is the Stadia, like the people in charge of Stadia was like going to like all the developers making games for Stadia about a week before the closure. Like, good job everyone, we're like on track.
Oh no.
Not cool. Also, not very surprising that Google killed off another project because that's a Google thing. That's just what they do.
That's just what they do. Just go make it dead in the water.
They just...
Do you like having your job disappear for no action related to you?
Right.
Try Google.
I think Amazon.
That said,
Game
I
Studios
will
also
work for you,
have-
Google, if you...
I think Amazon Game
Just
Studios
saying.
are also having a lot of issues right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
So yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I mean, they're at least making games.
Yes.
I don't know anybody who's playing them, but they're making games.
I don't know.
I
They
know
should.
nothing.
They should just like not do huge big MMOs as their first.
They should, yeah, but they're Amazon. They do big. I don't know. I think I shared the article that I read to you about it, where like a lot of the complaints were, one is the Amazon way to kind of do everything in house because vertical integration is cost effective, but it just sucks to try and have people make a game on a physics engine that doesn't exist outside of Amazon. And then also they're super just chasing trends, so they're just arriving late to the game all the time. Like, hey, you guys know Overwatch? We're gonna make Overwatch. Yeah, but we already have Overwatch, you know, like, and we had Bloodborne, or not Bloodborne, it was Blood Bowl. What was the game that came out at the same time, the 2K one that failed?
Oh, Battleborn.
Battleborn.
Oh, Battleborn.
I played 60
Yeah,
hours.
we already
of that
had an
game.
Overwatch
It was
competitor.
it was really good, honestly.
I liked the characters.
I-
I wanted to play more of the PvE.
I played both Overwatch and Battleborn, and I genuinely enjoyed Battleborn more. I genuinely enjoyed it,
I agree with that.
but simply because I like progression, and not
Yes,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting skins
Yeah.
and stuff.
I understand why Overwatch is more popular,
Yeah,
but
it's-
for me personally, I liked Battleborn more. Even though I like Blizzard more than 2K.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Battleborn is not just 2K; it's Gearbox. It's made by
Gearbox, right. It's Randy Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford. All porn is good.
It's a magic trick.
How did she score? It's a magic trick. Jesus fuck.
No.
What's wrong with him? Next up is I don't think Randy Pitchford said anything else that's stupid. After
Wow.
that is Hitman 3, which is a really cool feature. Hitman 3 allows you to download, if you own Hitman 1 and 2, and I'm not talking about the old ones, like the new ones. If you own Hitman 1 and 2, you can like download the maps and play them all in Hitman 3. That's like really cool.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's really cool. So yeah, they did have a bit of an issue with this for PC players because of like the Epic exclusivity. They were having some issues with like if you own them on Steam, the Hitman 1 and 2, and you have to buy Hitman 3 on Epic and like.
Right.
But they've, I believe, solved that.
Okay.
It wasn't an Epic problem. It was a IO Interactive problem.
Yeah.
I guess this is also news. IO Interactive is making the Indiana Jones one, right? Or James Bond. Which one they're making?
Oh gosh. That was it. Indiana
I don't
Jones?
know. I remember seeing an Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah, so
I don't
do
know if this is what you were talking about.
Project Zero.
thought
Oh,
I saw
so IO Interactive is making the James Bond game. Who is making the Indiana Jones game?
Someone's making Indiana Jones. I swear to God, I saw that.
Bethesda.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
Bethesda. Yes,
So, yeah,
that is a
Indiana Jones Skyrim, I guess. We get to put. Oh, imagine instead of the fucking boulder chasing you, it's like Thomas the steam engine.
Tank Engine? Yeah. Or
Yes.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
What was I watching? Oh, I don't know why this hadn't occurred to me. I saw something recently that showed like people of pictures of characters from Star Wars. I hadn't really registered how much. So one of the things I like about the original Star Wars that Rogue One captured really well is how very 70s, early 80s Star Wars is. Because it's, like they have sideburns, it's kind of funky looking. And Rogue One did that. The characters had sideburns, they had porn mustaches, they had all that fun little details. And in the newer Star Wars, Poe Dameron often looks like a character from Indiana Jones. So he's wearing like a kind of tan khaki shirt. He's got like a World War II bandolier of pockets. It's like, oh, I could see him being new Indiana Jones. Like I'd watch more of that. I want more Indiana Jones. I want more good Indiana Jones. I like Indiana Jones. I don't know that it ages super well, but I really like it.
No, but that's the specifically Machine Games, the people who made the Nazi killing simulator.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you
Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein? No. Okay.
Are you talking about what's his face?
Just making sure.
There's a lot of those. You gotta be specific, man.
So I hope they let us punch some Nazis. Indiana Jones did punch some, so it's
Seems
accurate. It's like movie accurate.
Nazis. Yes, it is movie accurate. In one movie.
This is the level where you just drive a propeller plane through Nazis. That's the whole level.
Is it Crystal Skull? Which one was it?
Where what? He punches
Holy
Nazis?
Grail.
I mean, it's all of them.
All of them. Oh, okay.
Oh,
wait, all of them?
Well, maybe not. Temple of Doom, maybe not so much.
Is Indiana Jones just about Nazis trying to get powerful artifacts or something?
Pretty much, because the Lost Ark is Nazis. Last Crusade is Nazis. Crystal Skull, Nazis. Yeah, I mean, so 3 of the 4 are for sure Nazis. There might even be Nazis. I don't know if there's Nazis in Temple of Doom. I don't remember. That's the worst one by a long shot, anyway.
Because there weren't Nazis anyway.
Actually, okay, I say the worst one. I don't know that it's worse than Crystal Skull. It's still probably better than Crystal Skull.
I was going to say, isn't Crystal Skull the new one that was...
Yeah. What was I watching recently that had... Monster Hunter World. Had several moments, because in Crystal Skull, there's this ridiculous moment where apparently Indiana Jones is on the site where they're testing a nuclear device for the first times ever. And so what does he do? He hides himself in a refrigerator, and because the lead will protect him from the radiation. And you see the blast just send the refrigerator flipping through the air, but he's totally fine. It just crashes and he just pops out. Monster Hunter World has multiple scenes like that where they're like, oh no, a big monster, we'll get in a car, and the car just goes flipping and destroyed, and you just get out of the wreckage we're fine, we were in a car. It's that's not how physics work. You'd be destroyed.
Not how the physics work.
Yeah, it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Hopefully new Indiana Jones is good. I don't know, I haven't played Wolfenstein, but I'd be tempted to play this.
It's good if you like old school
if it's not
shooters.
$60.
If you like old school shooters, it's pretty good.
I did try to play one of the newer ones, and it's just not my style of gameplay.
Yeah, it
so
is
I
very
sucked at
much
it, but...
old school classic,
Yeah.
shooter power-ups, get your armor and health
those
on
games
floor kind of thing.
Almost strike me as more as puzzle games, where it's okay, it didn't work if I tried to clear the room in this order, I gotta try and clear the room in this order. Oh, I found a secret power-up that completely changes, now I can tackle this guy earlier, or whatever. It's all about resource management and target priority, and it's hard.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah. I'm pretty dry. I don't have anything else.
I don't think I have anything else.
Disney Plus got the Muppet Show. That's pretty friggin' awesome.
As in the classic Muppet Show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, classic old Muppet Show. I might rewatch a bunch of those. I love that show.
Oh, I guess Nintendo did a direct, so there was Splatoon 3.
Mario Golf! I don't care about Mario Golf, but Mario Golf!
Mario Golf that is actually getting a story mode this time. After so many years. And
there's no new Fire Emblem, so I didn't care.
and Smash is getting characters because that's...
Oh yeah, and people
apparently,
are, of course, another sword fighter!
I know. Apparently, some people got really mad and were like, it's still, more Fire Emblem. Us Fire Emblem fans were like, it's not us!
Isn't it Xenoblade?
Who even is it?
I don't know. Okay.
Too. Two female sword fighters from the Xenoblade or something. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's just fine. I just have, even though I'm not even, I don't know if I can call myself a true Fire Emblem fan, but I've played, some of the newer games, and I do enjoy them a lot. Yeah, I've played enough, right? I've played enough to be around when they get really mad when another Fire Emblem character gets added to Smash. And I just, like, they're not wrong, but I do laugh. Like, it just is super amusing to me. So, like, there were some people that legit were like, it's still like Fire Emblem. We're just like, but it's not? What? The designs aren't even remotely the same.
There were two things. Oh, one was, did you guys see that PS4's backwards compatibility is so good that if you play PS3 games on it, they'll perform better?
What?
Really?
Was it PS4? I have the numbers wrong.
No, wait. I think it's 5 to 4.
PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah, because PS4 do not have
newest,
any backwards.
The newest -1.
Okay.
Okay, you can play PS4 games on the PS5 and they run really well.
And they run better than they do on the 4.
Yeah, they do.
Gotcha.
Simply because of the more powerful. I mean,
Sorry,
I think the devs have to like do some tweaking because it is like a new hardware and all that.
Resource stuff. Yeah.
They just get so much more horsepower on the damn thing. So.
Yep.
Sure.
And then the other news story, which I don't think we should really talk about because I'm sure none of us are informed enough. At least I'm not. We remember that Apple and Epic Games are in a legal battle because of Apple taking Epic Games off their App Store. Well, somehow Apple is trying to drag Valve into it. That's the latest development.
Oh, wow.
That's weird.
And Valve's like, leave us alone. We don't want to be involved.
We just want to make
stop, please.
Yeah.
Let us make money. That's so funny.
Basically, Apple subpoenaed Valve for something. I don't know what it does.
Why Valve? Fortnite is not on Steam, right?
They demanded it provide huge amounts of commercial data. Yeah, I don't know.
It's insane. Yeah, okay, whatever.
All right, Apple.
I don't think we should talk about it. It's legal bullshit we don't know anything about, but it's just
yet.
funny.
Yeah, we just gotta wait for...
Talking about legal bullshit, I guess, one more quick thing.
Oh, boy. Oh, dear.
Warner Brothers, they patented the Nemesis system from the Shadow of War Middle-earth games.
Yes, they did.
Which is surprising because
I missed that.
I thought they already had it.
You're right.
Apparently, they just got it.
Interesting.
It was probably a long legal battle.
Yeah. Probably takes a while, I guess. So yeah, some people have come out to support it because the creators should but it's Warner Brothers, man. It's not like an indie. Like
they don't need more IPs, man. They're fine.
and that system is actually really good. I wish more games would be able to use it, but
agreed. That's the disappointing part is it can't be replicated, or at least not in the same way.
Yeah.
So sad.
Good time to wrap up?
Yeah, I don't got anything.
Do the thing.
All right, do the thing. This is Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I am mostly on Twitter these days, but you can also catch me on RNG and T.
And I'm Foehamner. I'm on YouTube. I have been doing sketches, actually editing one right now, which will go up. One thing I didn't mention because I didn't watch her play it, but I'm in you can't really tell. I'm in a different house. I moved houses last weekend.
Yes.
So now that this room is my room, not a shared room, that makes it easier for me to record.
A house tour.
A walkthrough? No.
Yes.
I'd risk like recording something where people would find my house. Not that anyone's trying to find my house, but I'm too paranoid.
Everything you can to create the content. Don't you understand this?
Oh, I need to commercialize my life.
Yes. Exactly. Don't you get it? Sell out.
I mean, if people were offering me money, I'd be tempted, but it's work to money. Right now, I'm just putting it out for free.
Exactly. It's not even worth it.
It's not worth it, yeah. I should record it now, and I can release it later once I get money. Like, oh yeah, if you Patreon me for $100 a month, you can see when I moved back into my house 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And I'm Pupunoob, PUPUNOB, Twitter and YouTube, I guess. So, this has been episode 181 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.